from Ontario, Canada, Canada's capital, Ottawa, specifically. So we're right in the capital of Canada and excited to represent Canada on Global Dignity Day alongside all of the rest of you. So in just a moment, I'm going to pass things over to Ziauddin Yousafzai. She's our national chair for Global Dignity Canada, and she's going to kick things off and she's going to wish you a happy Global Dignity Day. And so when she says that, I want you to all, in your own houses, everywhere in the chat, I want you to say Happy Global Dignity Day. I want you to tweet it. I want you to post it. I want you to celebrate with us and cheer. And then Ziauddin will take us through a wonderful Global Dignity Day. So Ziauddin, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Olivia. And hello, everybody, and welcome to Global Dignity's first international online celebration. Okay, so again, as Olivia mentioned, I am Giovanna. I am joining you today from Alex Partners in London, UK. I am here with my Global Dignity Board colleague, Cindy Godwin, who is also the head of social responsibility for Alex Partners, our generous host here in London and where we're standing. I am also here with my husband, Brandon, without whom he keeps me sane and, going when Global Dignity Day is rocking and rolling. And so thank you both for being here. I am also joined by my good friend and founding chair of Global Dignity in Canada and co-founder of Taking It Global, Jennifer Corriero. We are here to kick off today's amazing celebrations. From Canada to Brazil to Kenya and Turkey, over the next hour, we have friends coming together from 9 sites around the world to celebrate our shared human dignity. Although every year we've hosted this event from Ottawa and often Parliament Hill, given the global nature of today's event, I would like to acknowledge the Indigenous peoples of the lands around the world that we are on today. And while we meet today on a virtual platform, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands on which we all call home. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility to improving relationships between nations and to improving our understanding of local Indigenous peoples and cultures. In Canada, from coast to coast to coast, we acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territory of all the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations people that call our land home. Okay, now to kick this off, Jennifer, you are in Toronto, in Canada. Can you believe that the very first Global Dignity workshop ever was in Canada in 2006.
Amazing.
Yeah, so amazing. And so Jennifer, tell us, do you think people treat each other with more dignity today than they did then?
Oh, Giovanna, I believe so. And especially when I think about the millions of youth who have had a day like today, just being able to think about how the way we treat one another can increase their dignity or decrease. That level of self-awareness, how we treat ourselves, how we treat others, this is what makes a difference in increasing a world where everyone lives with dignity. And so I believe especially every child and youth who's had an opportunity to participate in Global Dignity Day over all these years have helped to increase dignity in the world, and also how we just conduct ourselves, not only in person, but also online, such as a space like today. So I do believe so, and I do believe that we still have a long way to go, and that's why days like today are so important.
Amazing. Totally agree with you. And so you're a very impressive woman who's accomplished so much. One of your roles is the co-founder of Taking It Global, which is one of the generous sponsors of today's event, and we wouldn't be here without you. What's Taking It Global doing for Global Dignity Day this year, beyond, of course, this incredible event?
One special activity that we're organizing today is among the schools who are part of the Connected North program. So that program works with First Nations, Inuit, and Métis students in K-12 schools. And we have Inuk role model, Kate Herchuk. She is pursuing her master's of justice. So she's a scholar and she's an activist, and she's someone who is on the board of the Canadian Commission for UNESCO's work. She's someone who is just an incredible source of inspiration, and I nominated her as a dignity role model years ago. So she's returning in a virtual context to share her story with students later this afternoon, and you'll maybe keep an eye out for her because she's a game changer. She's someone who's making a difference each and every day. And I will say, just this moment, being here with all of you, I really do hope that new ideas emerge for how you can use your voice and also your ears to listen to those stories of dignity and witness those stories and contribute those stories of dignity. So just the act of participating, me here today, you here today, and coming together as partners. These are some examples of actions that, we're taking as a community, as an organization, and as individuals.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jenna, for sharing details about Connected North and about your experience with global dignity and the ways that we can take action. Thank you so much. And for all of us here today, this Global Dignity Day celebration is all about building on what Jennifer just shared. It's about identity and it's about kindness. And that's how we are going to strive to build more inclusive communities rooted in dignity. So let's think about kindness for a second. When you're kind to someone, you're showing them that you care about them and that you want them to be happy. Let's try this out for ourselves right now. I want everyone to pay close attention. Are you listening? Okay, now take a moment and look at the person on your left of the screen, or if you're in a room, to your left. Okay. Now, I want you to smile as big as you can at that person. I mean, a big, happy, even goofy, like the biggest smile that you can possibly muster. Keep going. Whatever feels good. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, keep smiling. Amazing. Okay, so how did that make you feel? Pretty good, right? That's kindness. Kindness is so easy to share with someone. It is so easy to be kind. And you just experienced it firsthand. Smiling at someone is an act of kindness. It is that simple. And kindness is the cultural fabric that enables greater dignity. In fact, did you know that Canada this year became the first country in the world to pass legislation supporting a National Kindness Week? Yes, in the third week of February, we are going to have the National Kindness Week for the first time. There is also now a global movement striving for an International Day of Kindness at the UN level. Amazing. And that's in large part inspired by our National Kindness Week in Canada. So exciting, more to come on that. So in support of building a kinder world, Global Dignity has an ongoing #Unite Kindness campaign, which aggregates and showcases kindness campaigns all around the world. And so since the launch of the Unite Kindness campaign in May of 2020, over 2 million acts of kindness have been aggregated across 40 kindness campaigns. And that's only 40. And that's primarily in North America. That's not including the kindness all around the world, which we want to build out to. So think about it, 2 million in a year and a half, and that's only based on 40 hashtags. There is so much kindness happening all the time. It's Wild, wild, so much opportunity. The Kindness Campaign also includes special projects like Time to Pause, Kind Worlds, and Quest, which we'll learn more about during this event. Unite Kindness shows us how easy it is to love oneself, others, and the world in really simple ways, like smiling, and donating food, and voting on election day, for example. So the simple way to participate is to take a photo or video of yourself being kind with the hashtag Unite Kindness, posting it to Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and the campaign will pull it and showcase it at globaldignity.org/UniteKindness. Okay, now before we move into the formal activities of the event, I want to take a moment to thank everyone who's made today's event possible. First, a big thanks to the Canadian Global Dignity Steering Committee and partners for everybody's incredible work this year leading up to Global Dignity Day. In particular, I would like to thank our Master of Ceremonies, Terry Godwald and Sarah Flynn from the Queen Elizabeth Center for Global Education, and Tanya Rashid from Taking It Global. Thank you so, so much. We actually would not be here today without you. Thank you. I would also like to thank Olivia Bechtold, who we just saw in Ottawa, Canada, our Executive Director in Canada. Thank you, Olivia, for all of your work. Dwayne Kennedy from Pondstone Communications for the development and upkeep of the Global Dignity website and our graphics. To Tara Bazwani and Rémi Lemieux from Lembas Works for all of their creative work and for being so integral to the creative capacity of this event today. Thank you. To Jamie Bell from the Arviat Film Society and ArcticNet. Thank you for everything you do to empower Indigenous youth in Canada through Global Dignity Day. And finally, thank you to Morris Hayes and Zoe Aldifer Ryan with Global Brew for Peace for consistently sharing your music with Global Dignity. Again, thank you for inspiring us. I also want to take a moment to thank some of our friends and partners at the global level. Global Dignity's Board of Directors. First and foremost, we would not be here without you. Thank you for everything that you do. A big thanks to Alana O'Donnell, Global Dignity's Home Office Director, and Matthias Bosch, Global Dignity's Executive Coordinator, for making the magic happen internationally. Thank you guys so much. To Cassandra Wallace and Alistair Morrison, both members of Global Dignity's International Council of Advisors who are involved today. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everything you do. And finally, I would like to thank Alex Partners, who again have donated this space and are involved at the global level in many ways, and also to ARD Financial Group for their partnership. Thank you all so much. Okay. I am now honored and delighted to share a video from Crown Prince Haakon of Norway about Global Dignity Day 2021. As a reminder, he is a co-founder of Global Dignity. Off to you, Crown Prince Haakon.
Hello, everyone. Happy Global Dignity Day. It has been well over a decade since we founded Global Dignity. But dignity, this universal and powerful idea that every person matters equally, is just as important today. At its core, dignity is about the value of every human life. It is the key to building understanding across the things that might seem to divide us: the color of our skin, our gender, sexual orientation, religion, or where we come from. But dignity is not simply an idea alone. It demands action and must be put into action. This can be done in big ways, such as fighting for equality and justice, but there is also a place for dignity in our everyday lives, in ways that might seem small. But every time we interact with one another, we can choose to honor each other's dignity, and every single act of dignity creates a ripple effect. Dignity is the foundation of freedom, justice, and mutual understanding. We cannot build trust and cooperation that we need in the world today without acknowledging everyone's dignity. I want to thank every one of you in the Global Dignity family around the world who have worked to mobilize another Dignity Day. Thank you for your daily efforts to help create a world based on dignity for all. Every act of dignity matters.
So beautiful. Okay, thank you, Crown Prince Haakon. All right, I now have the great pleasure of handing it over to Asinayak and Tara from Lembas Works for their inclusion in Northern Research Initiative Quest performance. Okay, Tara, off to you in Montreal, Quebec, Canada.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Quest Collective on shared identities, dignities, and a shared humanity for all. In Hindi, we have a word called hum that means us. I invite you to join us in our quest to be us.
It's a hazy memory. I came here from somewhere else. After eons drifting on a whim, I fly down, greeted with kindness, transformed by the warmth. Breath, a cycle, softly on the move, regenerating, expanding, retracting, percolating, continuously animating a galaxy bound in skin. Communication, scent, and stimulation, delights and limitations. Events encourage electricity in my head. Suddenly, eruption, streaming, consumed, human, and ruled by feeling. My chest heaves. My lungs filter. My veins distribute. The taste stale. It's okay. I'm only a kind of broken humanoid. Whispers tell me I'm small. You probably can't even hear these words as I call corporeal and longing to be vast. Listen, I don't know how to explain this, but nothing has to change for everything to completely and totally change. I find comfort in a sunbeam. The golden light soothes. 73,000 days I observe silence. Sunshine chrysalis. Me in my regeneration.
एक धरती, एक अंबर, हजारों सितारों से, हजारों ख्वाहिशों से, हजारों सपनों से बने One earth, one sky, from a billion stars, and hopes and dreams emerge. Us.
Du sayuk. Takuyapsi. Ipigyapsi.
Today, we reach you from Jojage, the unceded territory of the Kanakahaka. Nakukmik Mikyaluk, for all of the care that you've given to this land, so that we may prosper.
Landscapes, these environments, these communities, we are grateful. Prince Haakon. This is our quest for dignity.
Stunning. Thank you so very much, Tara and Asnayak, for that performance and gorgeous opening to this most noble global event. And with that, Terry, I am going to hand it over to you to start taking us around the world.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much, Giovanna. Thank you for everyone who has shared so far. And we are excited to have so many countries that are joining us for today. We have our friends. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on, we're going to put it on gallery view so we can see. We don't even have a big enough screen to show everybody in one place, but we have our friends who are joining us for Portugal. Hello, friends in Portugal. Can you wave wherever you are? There we go. They're joining us from home. It's after school for them. We have some friends who are joining us from Turkey. Hello to our Turkey friends. Can you wave if you're from Turkey? Hello, Turkey. Let's see, I'm going to pop across to another screen here. It's great to have you here, Turkey. And we have students who are joining us from Costa Rica. Hello, Costa Rica. Great to have you here as well. We have our friends from Brazil, Argentina, Kenya, Nigeria, and then we have two sites also from Canada, joining from Saskatchewan, and then Alberta, which is the site where I'm at right now. So it's great to have everybody here and to be joining us for the day that we are going to do. Now, friends, we are honored to have a very special guest who is who's going to be sharing his dignity story. And our global dignity role model this year is Mr. Ziauddin Yousafzai. Mr. Yousafzai is a Pakistani education activist, best known as the father of Nobel laureate Malala Yousafzai, who protested against the Tehrik-i-Taliban Pakistan opposition to the education rights of girls, especially Pakistani girls. Mr. Yousafzai, who is now joining us from Birmingham, we are honored to have you here, sir. How is the day looking on your part of the planet?
Thank you so much. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Joanna, Brandon, everyone on the team. And first of all, I say Assalamu alaikum and happy Global Dignity Day to everyone. And I give you a big smile as well. Thank you, everyone. It's really a great day, and I feel very privileged to be speaking to you all, especially students from all around the world. And as Terry said, I'm Ziauddin Yousafzai. I'm from Pakistan. And once upon a time, Malala was my daughter, but now I am her father. So in patriarchal societies where fathers are known by their sons, I'm one of the few fathers who is known by his daughter, and I'm so proud of it. And I want to dedicate this day, Global Dignity Day, personally, I want to dedicate it to the millions of Afghan girls who are not going to school for the last 33 days because the Taliban regime have closed their secondary schools. We all must stand with them until their school opens. Dear students and everyone who are watching me, as I told, my name is Ziauddin Yousafzai, and I was born and grew up in a small village in the northwest of Pakistan, in the beautiful valley of Shangla Swat. And I grew up in a family of 5 sisters and a brother. And I could see 2 sets of parenthood under the same roof. One was for the girls and the other was for the boys. Like I got milk cream with tea in my morning breakfast, while my sisters did not. I had better clothes, more pair of shoes, while my sisters had not. And the worst discrimination that my sisters went through was their deprivation from education that crippled their future. I was sent to school while they stayed home. And there I could see like my worthiness because being a boy, and unfortunately their worthlessness because they were being girls. While I was pursuing my dreams in the school, and my father and my mother had big dreams for me, they wanted to see me a very influential person who could contribute to the community and to the family. For my 5 sisters, their only dream was to get them married as early as possible. But I will not blame my parents only. The government was also patriarchal. There were quite enough school for the boys, but hardly any school for the girls. And I could also see that some of my sisters were smarter than me. They could become lawyers, judges, teachers, doctors, pilots, but their future was decided as they were born. That's why I tell, and I always tell, that in patriarchal societies, many women die as if they were never born. And that is so sad. Also, I could notice the invisibility of women and girls. I could see the anonymity of the women and girls. When as a boy, as a child, I took my mother to the doctor. The doctor used to write on prescription Ziauddin's mother, or the mother of Ziauddin. And when my father took her, she would become wife of Ruhul Amin. This is my father's name. So you can see that even the names of the girls, which is their basic human identity, they are not publicized. Now you will be thinking that what changed me into a different person? What changed me and what gave me the courage to be a different person and challenge the social norms and the taboos that were hurdled in girls' education and women empowerment? My one-word answer is education. Education changed me. Education transformed me into the kind of person that I became. Education gave me values, the value of love, respect, compassion, empathy, kindness, and accepting of people indifferent to their religion, faith, caste, class, gender, and sexual orientation. And also, I could see that education is the most powerful equalizer. Because personally, I think that inequality is the worst enemy of human dignity. Where there is no equality, there is no human dignity. And that was the reason that when my daughter was born, I named her after the legendary Afghan heroine Malala Yousafzai. And that was the reason that when my cousin brought me the family tree after Malala was born, and I looked at the family tree, and it was a long list of men traced back to 400 years. I picked up my pen and drew a line and wrote Malala. That was the moment that I was a feminist without knowing this word at that time. And I believed that Malala should have name on the family tree because this is her identity and that will give her human dignity. I didn't want that my daughter should be known as a man's daughter or a man's sister or a man's wife. She should have her own identity. She should be known by her own name. Though I did not know that a day will come and I will be just known by her name. That is lovely. I love that introduction. So it's to be very short. Also, I could see other things. Like as a boy, you know, when I talk, I have this stuttering. I stutter. And as a boy, as a child, I could see that some of my class fellows bullied me for stuttering. So bullying someone is against human dignity. And the bully, I mean, the person, the victim, it is against the human dignity of the victim, but it is also against the human dignity of the person who bullies other people. But I believed in myself. I remember one story that when I was in a classroom and the teacher had given us an assignment to write, and next day I was asked to read it in the classroom. And when I started reading, and I started stuttering because in front of teachers, you students know we are very anxious. So my nervousness increased my stuttering. And when I was stuttering, my teacher told me, why not you give it to the friend? He will read for you. And respectfully, I protested to my teacher. I told him, sir. In Pakistan, we call people or teachers, sir. I said, sir, you have to listen. This is me. This stuttering is the part of my personality. And you have to listen to me with this stuttering because it will be against my human dignity if you don't let me to read myself. Anyway, I'm getting emotional. But this is how we come across all this. So to be very short, and then later on, I believe that education is the powerful equalizer. And I was very determined that my daughter will be achieving her identity and human dignity through education. But Taliban banned girls' education in 2007. They bombed more than 400 schools. And they literally banned girls from schools in 2008 and 9. And that was the time that we had to stand for our basic human right. Malala had to stand, I had to stand, and we spoke for the right of girls' education. And this one girl with a voice was more powerful than the bombs and suicides and their rifles of Taliban. They were so scared of her. They wanted to finish her. But man proposes, God disposes. The same girl who was speaking for 50,000 girls in the Swat Valley when girls' education was banned by Taliban, the same girl is now speaking up for 130 million girls all around the world. So let me tell the children here, the boys and girls here, that remember that whenever you are looked down upon because of your color or because of your religion or because of your ethnicity or because of your faith or because of your sexual orientation, you should be the first person to stand for yourself, to speak up for yourself. Because when your human rights are violated, your voice is the most powerful voice. So that is such an important thing. That is why Malala's voice spread like a crescendo in Pakistan. And she was heard by everyone. And this is how we come together, and we are able to protect the human dignity as a global community. Like, this is so simple. My time is not very long. I mean, I should wind up. Like, when a girl is forced into a marriage, early child marriage, without, I mean, when a girl is forced into a child marriage, it is against her human dignity. When a girl is forced into a marriage, even if she is an adult, it is against her human dignity. When a boy is forced into a child labor, it is against the human dignity of the boy. So we all have to come together. The governments, our governments, whether they are in Kenya, in Brazil, in Latin America, in Afghanistan, in Pakistan, everywhere, it's their prime responsibility that they should introduce laws and implement laws that ensure our human dignity, irrespective of our color or ethnicity or our language, anything. And also the most important thing, which is the theme of this year's Global Dignity Day, that is kindness and compassion. As a community, as a global community, local communities, and then we all human beings are a global community. It's every human being's responsibility that we should have this compassion, this empathy, this kindness, this culture of kindness and compassion that ensure our human dignity. If I am Pashtun, Pakistani, Muslim, a colored man, a brown in color, so I am proud of all these identities. I'm Pashtun, Muslim, Pakistani. The world should accept me with all my identities. I'm proud of my identities, and I will also respect everyone, whether he, she, whether they are Hindus or Christians or Jews or atheists, whatever is their faith, whatever is their color, whatever there is ethnicity, I should have enough human compassion and humanity that I should respect everyone. So once again, I wish you all a happy Global Dignity Day. And I believe that human dignity is the only way out, where we all can grow, thrive, and be happy on this beautiful planet. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen and friends, wherever we happen to be in the world. Let's have a huge round of applause as a thank you to Mr. Yousafzai. The courage of a young woman, the words of a young woman stood up to bombs and guns. And Mr. Yousafzai, your inspiration for how you stood up when you were a young person to someone who was taking that dignity away from you, and how your daughters continued your heritage of standing up and started her own, and of that dignity that's there. Friends, we're going to go. We have, thank you so much for sharing those very powerful words. We are going to have an activity we're going to do right now at each of our sites, and this is the identity flower. And just as Mr. Yousafzai shared with us the parts of who he was and how that was an important part, so too do each of us have different parts of who we are. Now, normally we had a little bit of extra time for this, 15 minutes. We're going to do it in 5. And so you can see the identity flower that's here. And on the next slide, we'll see my identity flower that I filled out. I am, in the middle is my name. Around that, I am a father. I am a Canadian. I am a musician. I am a spouse. I speak different languages. My father immigrated from Holland. I'm a male. I'm a teacher. And some of you have done this activity before, and so you're going to be ready to come back and share. And then the third row that we're going to do now is a little bit more of what are the influences that shaped who we are? right? So I come from a Christian heritage that shaped who I am. I come from a large family that shaped who I am. My father was an RCMP officer who was actually involved in residential schools. Well, that has impacted who I am. Not everything that comes in our lives are necessarily going to be a positive story, right? They're going to impact us in different ways. I am white, my color of my skin, and as a result, I have some privileges that come with that I need to be aware of, and that each of us come. So what we want to do is spend 5 minutes, and I'd like you to fill in your flower. First, those immediate characteristics. That's the first row. And then the second row after that is going to be what those characteristics have been influenced by. And then we're going to come back together here in about 5 minutes. So everyone can do that activity now. And then we're going to share some of these before we wrap up for the day. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them through the chat window. All right, friends, we are going to have this is a 2-minute warning. It was quick, but I can already see some great points that people are sharing. I'm curious, actually, we can even use the chat window. It'd be great to see some of the characteristics you're adding to your flower. And just letting everybody know, so we're going to have, I have a student who is here with me today who's going to share first, but then we're going to go to Portugal, and Portugal is going to share next. If some of our other sites have some flowers they would like to share, can you write that into the chat window, and then we'll be able to go to you. So in about 1 minute, we're going to come back, and then we will be sharing then. All right, so I have a friend who's joining me here, and your name is?
Aisha.
Aisha. Wonderful. Aisha, would you like to share your flower? Can I hold it while you speak?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aisha Irfan. I'm a grade 12 student here at Queen Elizabeth High School. I serve as the policy chair for my city civic council and a youth advisor for federal policies. Dignity, a concept defined through one's self-perception. As a young 17-year-old Pakistani Muslim woman, I believe my dignity comes through embracing identity. You see, for a very long time, I had no idea how the concept of dignity applied to my well-being, as I was ashamed of who I was for a really long time. I was ashamed of my culture, my food, my hair. I was ashamed of my identity. Growing up in a multicultural country without the proper representation was extremely difficult, as I constantly felt that I was anything but the status quo. It was hard to find dignity within my identity as a child, as I had simply no idea what that even looked like. As I grew up, instead of resenting my past experiences, I began to research and reflect why I couldn't find dignity within my identity. I managed to narrow it down similarly to Mr. Yousafzai's answer: education. These very schools that are participating today are responsible for shaping millions of young lives. They are also responsible for teaching their students that their identities are dignified and should be embraced to their fullest extent. Representation within curriculums and books plays a major factor in allowing the student to find contentment within their identity. I know if I grew up with books that had more characters that looked like myself, I wouldn't have felt the need to cut my hair or stop bringing my cultural food to school. I would have known that there's dignity within my identity. Unfortunately, many students like myself grow up like this, questioning whether or not our experiences are valid or dignified. This is why days like Global Dignity are so important to recognize, as it gives individuals like myself and others the opportunity to realize that there is value in every single human life.
Amen. Very well said. Thank you. Thank you for that great work, and thank you for those powerful words of sharing. That was so beautiful. Okay, let's go across now to our friends in Portugal. Portugal, over to you.
Can my students show their flowers?
Please.
So call them Pedro, Tomé, and Inês. I can show you mine.
Here's mine. I put some adjectives for me. For example, funny, speaker, organized.
Perfect. Thank you for holding it there. It's good. It's helpful to see.
Here's mine. Are not perfect, but I do my best.
Can you read your words? It's hard for us to read them.
I read. I is right. Portuguese, Europe, nervous, dreamer, animals, 9th class, sea, life. That's all. I can't have any time to write in the order. I don't have any time.
No, I think that you're right. We had a little bit less time, but I appreciate you taking the time that we did and adding those, because I'm sure there are people all across the world who might not have a bird on their shoulder as you do, but they certainly have animals as an important part of.
His name is Fly.
His name is Fly. Well, beautiful. Well, that's great. Let's hear a round of applause for both of our friends who've shared so far.
That was Tomé also. Can Tomé share his flower? No?
Yes,
no
we'll
time.
have one more from Portugal, and then if we have somebody else who's another country.
Oh gosh, it's supposed to end.
Oh, yeah. Okay, and so we'll have one more person share, and then we're gonna be wrapping up here right away. So go ahead.
Sure.
The last student from Portugal.
My name is Tomé. As you can see, I'm a male. I live in the city. I'm in 9th grade. I live in Europe. I'm single, Portuguese, Caucasian, and a teenager. And then in the third row, I wrote that I'm white. I'm a son. I'm a student. I live by the seaside, and I have a small family.
Excellent. Thank you so very much for sharing. Okay, so I see a note here from Saskatoon. Okay, St. Joseph's, one person sharing there, and then we're going to need to wrap it up. We'll pass it back to Giovanna. So
Wonderful.
Saskatoon, go ahead.
Okay, I'm just waiting for my student to come. There he is.
Hello, I'm Adam Webster from Saskatoon. I'm in grade 12. So a couple of things that make up myself are, first of all, my sexual orientation. I'm gay, non-binary. I live in a developed nation, so I am very grateful for all the education I can receive here. I'm bilingual, again, building off that education. I have the ability to speak and learn in 2 languages. I'm 17, so I have a huge advantage with a generational mindset that wants change into better things. And like you said, improve that human dignity all around the world. I'm white, so I get that huge privilege of not having the barriers that are set for other people. And I can recognize that every day here in Canada. I'm middle to lower class, so I have the ability to live with food and shelter without any sort of need or risk of losing that any day, and with enough freedom for a good life, and that, again, that safety. Being gay and non-binary here, I am at risk of being attacked, but I have that human dignity and the ability with Canadian laws and the mindset that's pushing forward to be able to show who I am and express myself without as much fear as I used to be able to. All these things have made me up and kind of shaped a person that's become resilient and strong, and just with the people around me and Madame Kelm especially, I've been able to grow into someone who can show who I am and have that human dignity like we've been discussing today. So that's why all of this makes up who I am and why this day I think is so important for so many people around the world.
Thank you so much. Well said. Okay, Giovanna, we're a minute over time, but we'll pass it back to you now to wrap up and send the world on its way. Giovanna, over to you.
Thank you so much, Terry. Thank you to everyone that shared their flowers. I wish we had another 3 hours for this event. We could have gone on and on and on. I want to thank everyone for today's activities. And as we return home to our communities around the world, it's important to remember that by celebrating today, we've not only contributed to a world where respect, understanding, and love win, but we've also become one of the world's dignity role models in return. Because remember, Dignity Day doesn't end today, it's just the beginning. And as we know, every day can be lived wholly with dignity for ourselves and others. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us today. And once again, happy Global Dignity Day. Be safe.
Happy Dignity Day. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Gracias. Chao.